hace sentir no respirar y no poder llamar. Intenté, traté y me esforcé en ser la más veloz, creyendo así podría ser feliz. Pero una voz tan apacible llegó a mí en la debilidad, a decirme ya no corras, ven que te enseñaré a caminar, a caminar, a caminar, a caminar, a caminar. Me caí y ahí entendí cuán equivocada estaba en mi forma de vivir, tratando de ganar, perdí de vista lo más importante de mi existir. Pero una voz tan apacible llegó a mí en la debilidad, decirme ya no corras, ven que te enseñaré a caminar. La carrera de la fe no es la que trata de velocidad, es aquel que se detiene por alguien más que podrá avanzar. Ven a caminar, a caminar, a descansar, descansar. Tanto correr, descansé y pude respirar.
All right, so that was a lot of, you probably have a lot of questions, like who were those people? What were you doing? So I was going to quickly go over that. As you can see here, there's a group that went. I was about to point to back there. That's funny. So as you can see, this is our best picture of me with my eyes closed. And you might know some of these people, but I'm thankful for all of them. And so this is Jake, Isaiah, Isaac, Johnny, and Ian. Very thankful for these men that were able to bring their willingness to serve, and most of which have never been out of the country. So it's cool to have new experiences. You'll hear from a couple of them later. If you can go to the next slide. There we go. All right, so these are at least three of our goals, our main goals anyway, to connect with a local church. The church is called Genezaret, which is another name for the Sea of Galilee. I guess it has three names. That's one of them in Spanish. And I think we were able to do that. One of the ways we did that was we had 3 days of construction project on the women's dorm, because there's also a school, as you saw, attached to this church. The school, as many of maybe already heard about, but it's called UCLA, and it is the only accredited Christian private school in all of Mexico. And they have kids from 3 years old through seminary. And there's even a guy in, there's a guy, where kids, do you remember where this guy was that went to VBS? Who was at VBS? Any kids? Who was that? Who were we raising support for in VBS? Gabe? Yeah, that's right. Honduras, there's a man named Gabriel that's trying to get to UCLA to be trained to be sent back to where he's from and serve a children's home there. And because this is their best option. It's affordable. It's too expensive to get to the United States. So we were able to raise at least 3 months of his room and board and tuition to go to UCLA. Really cool. way we connect with this man who has a similar heart as mine, and also connect with this school. So, like I said, we had 3 days of construction projects on the women's dorm, and they were able to complete it the next week after we left, and the women are back in this dorm. I think it holds up to 60 or 70 women that go to UCLA for different programs as music, or I think there's maybe 12 different degree focuses there, but they also have a seminary for men. So another one, we were hoping to learn and connect with an existing children's home. I've met with about 4 or 5 of them now over the last few trips. The one we met here, Rancho del Rey, you saw, it was actually started by a friend of Nate Saint, who was, martyred with, I'm blanking. Who was he martyred with? Jim Elliot, you guys know. So it maybe started solid theologically, and somewhere along the last 50 years, it kind of lost some of the gospel. And as talking to them and learning from them, their biggest problem, according to their director, is that they have many different denominations and their different house families and parents, and it causes a lot of problems. As you could see, there's not unity in there. So we were able to share the gospel there if they knew it or not, and they were able to get some action Bibles, as you saw, that were raised. The money was raised from Kids Club as a couple months before we left, so that was really cool. So we were able to connect with this children's home that's existing. Yeah, there we go. Good job, Kids Club. And we are also able to learn from them a little bit more. So you see here, one of our goals is to grow our faith. And God has been doing that each trip. The first trip we went on, my family alone went last June, and we met with a man that is in charge of different children's homes. And we were at the time thought maybe we could partner with this ministry. And similarly, they've lost the main focus of their mission, which is the gospel. They've lost that along the way. I don't know, in chase of money or some other idol, but we're not able to partner with them. But I've learned a lot from them. And that meeting, they told me all the different. I don't need to bend down. There we go. They told me a lot of different requirements by the government. And that first meeting, it was like a little discouraging. I was like, man, I don't know how this is possible. It'd be too expensive. It's a lot because you have to have like 5 professionals hired. I don't know how it's possible. But God grew my faith in many different ways over the last few trips. If you go to the next slide, I'll kind of show how he's been growing my faith, and you'll kind of see a few more people along the way. Okay, so this is the school again, as you saw before. If you go to the next slide, this is the women's dorm that we were able to work on. They were getting close to the end, and we were able to do some finishing touches that they were thankful for. I don't know. They were being kind. But I think we got a lot done. I was pretty happy with our team's efforts. So this is right here in the middle, right behind my shoulder. His name is Omar, and this is his family. Omar is like, he'd be like the executive of the church and school. That doesn't sound very spiritual, but he's elder qualified. He's not an elder, but he kind of runs the church and school, the finance guy, and he's actually set aside many hours over the last few months looking into how we could do this children's home, and he's been a huge blessing, and I just wanted to point that guy out. If you go to the next slide, this is a team that went with us from the church and school. These are some students and some members of the church that came with us to Rancho del Rey to just discern, see what they could see, and learn along with us. But these guys were a big blessing. This guy's name is Hasiel. He graduated a university. He now works for Whirlpool in Monterrey, but he is a faithful member of the church there. And she's the secretary of the church and school. And this girl here is actually a licensed nutritionist, which is one of the requirements we need to have a children's home. And she's like, I'm going to volunteer my time. I can take care of kids, I can do dishes. And I'm like, wow. So I mean, just people from this church have really embraced our vision. They've come up to me without me seeking anything out. God's been opening doors and showing how something like this could be possible through a church, which is the big difference between what we're doing and what some of the children's homes there are doing currently. They're floating, they've lost the gospel, they're not attached to a church. If you go to the next slide. So this is Omar again, taking a selfie with me and the 8 government agents in Nuevo Leon, which is the state in Mexico that we were in. 6 million people in the state, about 5.5 million people just in the city. And there's 8 agents, field agents, that go and take care of all the children in the children's homes. There's not enough. There's probably, I don't know, hundreds in Kansas with 2.5 million people. You can do the math. It doesn't work. If we're struggling here in Kansas, imagine. So that's why they require each children's home to have a lot of this professional help, which God's shown us, we've been able to find within the church already. But before we move there, before we have started, there's God showing a path to that. If He wills it, He's going to make it happen. So this is another meeting. 2 days after I got back, I had another meeting on a Zoom call with another top executive of DEEF. So that's like DCF here. It's called DIF there. DEEF, and they are in charge of all the children's homes. And here's just another really important meeting. We were able to connect with, this was a goal that I didn't have. So I had that meeting. We got there Tuesday. That night, they're like, hey, you have a meeting tomorrow with these government agents. I didn't set it up. Just a member of the church that's involved with the government there set up a meeting. And then there was another one to follow. And just a goal that God had for us that I just kind of fell into. Big open doors. So another slide, maybe? Yes. Okay, so this is Pastor Luis. He's the head pastor of Genezaret and his family here. He's been a big blessing to get to know. This man here is one of the professors. And, we had lunch with him after church on Sunday, so it was a big blessing to connect with him. One of the goals of the trip, to connect with the church, and I think we really hit that goal. So if you guys will hear from a couple guys, maybe they have some different thoughts than I, but Jake, are you ready? All right.
Most of you guys know me. I'm Jake. Probably many of you know my wife better, Brittany. But so this trip was a first for me in a lot of ways. I'd never been on a missions trip, never been out of the country before. And something else that never put a picture up there was the solar eclipse that we saw on our way into Mexico, which that was pretty neat to see and be a part of. Just kind of setting the tone for the trip, knowing that God's in control of creation and the world and everything, and I'd never seen one of those, and that was pretty neat. But anyway, so something that really stuck with me from this trip was when we got there, immediately I could sense that we had a bond with the people there, the pastors that we were working with, the other people there. It was just immediate friendship, and I feel that was only possible because we all shared a faith in Christ, and we were all there for the same reason. By worldly standards, we're all foreigners, but, because of Christ, we're all brothers, pursuing that same goal, pursuing the same God and His kingdom. That's something that really stuck with me even after I got home. And so when I got back from the trip and was kind of reflecting on everything that happened, a passage that I kept coming back to, and I'd like to read that now, was from Revelation chapter 7, 9 through 10. After these things, I looked, and behold, a great multitude, which no one could count, from every nation and tribe and people and tongue, standing before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed in white robes, and palm branches were in their hands. And they cried out with a loud voice, saying, "Salvation to our God, who sits on the throne, and to the Lamb." I've heard that passage many times. I've read it many times, but until I was actually in a service with people from another country with a language I did not understand one bit of, So, we went to a couple services while we were there during the week, and, we didn't understand anything. Well, I didn't, but, you could definitely sense that, the faith in that room was real. And, I didn't understand the words, but I understood their hearts. And that was a special moment for me to be a part of, being able to worship together with a group of people from a different country, a different language. That really sank deep for me. I was really thankful for this trip. I'll be honest, I was kind of hesitant to even go when Andrew asked me. I was like, dude, I got like 3 months, and I don't even have a passport. And so I told him, I said, well, I'll pray about it, I'll start the process, and I'm thinking, there ain't no way I'm going to get one by April. And it showed up in record time. It was like a week later, I get it. I was like, okay, I guess I'm going. So, I was really thankful for that trip. It was great to build the relationships that we did. You spend, how long did it take, 17 hours? 17 hours in a small vehicle, and then you were with them all week, and then you spend, well, Ian drove home, so it was like 16, 15 hours. I've never been 80 miles an hour on a gravel road before, but if you want to get somewhere quick, take him. But so that was cool, and also being able to be a part of what Kinsey and Andrew are trying to do, even though we didn't do much with the orphanage, but just being able to see kind of the process that they're getting started. It was neat to be a part of that, and something else that I never would have. It's not surprising, but that I'm thankful for is the conversations it allowed me to have with my coworkers, my kids here back in Hutchinson. Why are you going? Like, who pays to go work in a foreign country for a week? Like, it was a very foreign concept to a lot of people I work with. So that allowed me to kind of open up, share the reason we're going, share the truth of the gospel, and then reiterate that with my kids, because they were kind of confused too, and they didn't want me to go, but. And, the trip was a lot of fun. We had a lot of great memories, a lot of funny stories. So I'll end with this. At the border, it went pretty smooth, except for they decided to search us, and they tried to, buy stuff from us, and we had to pay taxes on our tools. But what I thought was funny was they only searched one suitcase, and they were fine with it. They looked in it, and then we left, and we're like, what was that all about? And so we concluded that, it was Ian's suitcase, by the way, that they were a little confused because in a van from America with 6 adult men, why was there one hot pink suitcase? So I guess that's why he got searched. So I guess next time we need to get him like a manly duffel bag, but...
I have no words to say to that. I got nothing. I only got a couple minutes, so I had several different things, but I think just a couple things to hit on. One of the questions that I wrote down that was given to me by Andrew was, how is Christ honored with this trip? I think just thinking through it, 6 guys taking a week off from work and driving 15 to 17 hours away from their families, and spending that week with brothers and sisters in a different community, just kind of that in and of itself honored Christ. Like Jake was saying, that's kind of a foreign concept, especially to the world, to give of ourselves when we really get nothing in return. So that was pretty awesome to see. Like Jake said, it wasn't a super likely story to the border officers when we got stopped, and that was our explanation is, yeah, we're going and just spending a week with, these people over here. And but another thing that struck me about how Christ was honored was just the conduct of the guys that I got to spend the week with. When you go and spend a week somewhere with a group of people, oftentimes, you might run into just some like scuffles or getting annoyed of each other. We're all sinners and we all have our quirks. But just the whole week, it was really marked by graciousness towards one another and understanding, and just all the guys were super willing to serve. So that was really awesome to see Christ working through each one of them. And Jake and I didn't plan it, but also what I was thinking through, just what I was struck by was just the passage in Revelation talking about that, this is just one step closer to fulfilling the mission to see every single people group and nation and language standing before God and worshiping him. So it was a great opportunity to spend a week with Andrew and the guys and see kind of what him and Kenzie are shooting for there, and that they're taking that step to bring in people from another country into the kingdom.
We're out of time, but we actually live here, so you guys can come talk to us anytime. We'd love to share more about what God's doing there already in the school and church. It's just a big blessing to get to know them. I think we take 5 minutes, use the bathroom, come back in here in like 5 minutes. Sound good? All right. Thank you. Continue to pray for us, please. I still need to learn more Spanish and just all the things. But if you want more specific ways we can pray, come talk to me, please. Thank you.